I wonder what community this fucking dipshit comes from. Account created on 2012. Long time fucking, long time spent on the goddamn website. Not even low-key racist, high-key racist. I wonder where he might have come from, dude. Fuck out of here, bitch. Come on, bro. The kids threatened him with something, and they pointed something at him. That's why he had to shoot at them while they were driving away. I saw that comment scroll past. How'd you snipe that? Dude, I'm Chris Kyle, dude. Thank you, Cape Sierra, for the 16 subs. Oof. Bro, I only watch your YouTube vids. I didn't realize your chat had this many pea-brains in it. Listen, there's 50,000 people in here. Of course there's going to be fucking baboons in here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it works. Said, I live in a Muslim country, smile. Yeah. He means the UK. Oh, he lives in a Muslim country, probably Sweden. One of those guys. I thank you, Mixed Marv. I did snipe your comment. Anyway, let's keep going.
We need to go home.
Okay, so you get your car and drive home.
Yes.
Do you stop at all coming home?
No.
Okay, so you drive straight to the house.
Straight to the house.
What's kind of how does that all play out?
He just kept telling me that he loved me.
The whole drive down?
Yeah.
Were you guys really talking about it at all?
No, we were listening to the radio, and then he would turn it down and just say, I love you, and I know, okay. But I'm dumbfounded.
Right. It's okay. Take your time. Take a minute.
And it was just a horrible trip home.
Right.
And so no, I didn't want to hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just get us home.
Right.
Get us home.
Okay.
And then when I walked back in the house is when I got the call from you.
Witnesses at the scene of the shooting took down Michael's number plate, and police were able to track him down at his home in Brevard County. He was brought back to the JSO Police Department without
thank fucking God, dude.
Incident, and immediately subjected to interrogation. It began at exactly 4 p.m., 22 hours after the shooting.
If you do answer questions, you have the right to stop answering questions at any time and consult with a lawyer. Okay.
By the way, I too go back to a hotel room and get some fucking pizza and a rum and coke for myself when I feel like my life was threatened by teenagers running away from me in their vehicle. Instead of doing literally anything else, like staying right there, informing the authorities, saying that like these teenagers in a car were threatening me and I had to defend myself. I too love mag dumping teenagers and then fucking, going back to my hotel. Like, there is no fucking argument from these baboons, dude, in the chat. Like, he was actually the victim, dude. He was scared for his life, which is why he fucking unloaded an entire magazine. He would have done that to white kids too, dude. He was scared, dude. Like, the moment that you find yourself defending a guy like this, you really got to reevaluate everything, dude. You really have to evaluate everything in your life. Like, you are a fucking monster. You are a bad person, okay? Straight up. Has anyone actually said that? No, the fucking dude in the chat who was like, oh, the kids were showing something and he was scared for his life. That's why he shot at them. And he would have shot at them if they were white too. Like that fucking idiot who we just banned earlier, who, hasn't seen a hate crime he won't defend. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dudes like that on the internet. They just like literally will see like a white person murder like a black person in cold blood. And they'll be like, oh, this is my opportunity to fucking be a gigantic Nazi. You think the world is so simple, lol. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It's actually much more complicated. The situation is much more complicated than the way you want to describe it. You're right.
You understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you could just sign where it says signature, and by signing there, you're just acknowledging that I went over your rights with you and that you do understand your rights. Obviously, I just kind of want to talk to you about what occurred last night.
It's important to contemplate what the suspect...
The issue has so much more meaning than just racism, you clown. Really? When he said, I don't like that thug music? Or when he said that they are violent, you know how they are. When referencing the 17-year-old black kid he murdered slash the other kids he tried to murder but failed to murder. And that he's the victor. Or do you think when he called them animals, do you think that was not a racist take? I just want to understand. Maybe you think that it's normal to consider black teenagers animals, maybe from where you're from, after you've executed one of them. By the way, you guys, mods, you guys are permabanning these guys, right? I mean, they're fucking... Again, black victim, white murderer, immediately. Look at how the chat shifted. We watched a fucking psycho butcher a lady, okay? Not a peep. The fucking moment that there is a black victim and a white murderer, chat goes fucking buck wild. Chat's like, you know, chat puts on, there's people in the chat, they're like, time to put on the clan robe, brother. Let's go. Yeet, yeet. It's got to be so sad that, like, your last act defending your racial purity and integrity as, like, a white supremacist is going into a fucking Twitch chatter, like a political Twitch stream, and being like, the white guy actually deserved to murder one of them at least. Like, that's so pathetic, bro. Oh my God, white genocide is so poggers, dude. Holy shit. Oh, thank God, dude. Thank fucking God that, like, all of you fucking weirdo racists are being bred out, dude. Fuck. Oh. For the record, I know there's a lot of new members in this community. White genocide is a concept that Nazis use to determine that whiteness, which is exclusively based on the purity of your white blood, untainted by black or brown blood, of course, is happening in America because miscegenation is happening. What is miscegenation? Race mixing. Nazis are so fucking fragile, and white supremacists are so fragile that they think that it's genocide when their daughters want to have sex with people that aren't white. My lord. Whew. Anyway, which is why I always make fun of it as a concept. And it's not real systemic genocide like rounding up white people and murdering them.
Is most likely thinking at this moment, as well as the character he is now trying to play. He wants to come across as the victim, who had no other choice but to take the action he did the night before, and needs to appear as rational, reasonable, and as considerate as possible. He knows that someone has died due to a situation that he initiated, and now needs to bend not only the facts, but also the perceptions of others.
So just kind of walk me through, just tell me from your point of view, what you guys pull up, you're driving, it's your car, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're driving?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a Volkswagen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. She's sitting in the passenger seat, no one else in the car with you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just kind of walk me through kind of what happened at that point.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say this, but got out, she's in the store, and there's like a SUV next to us, and then the music starts. Mm-hmm. And I roll down my window, and I thought I was polite. I asked them nicely. I didn't demand. I didn't. Mm-hmm. Or else I said, hey, would you guys mind turning that down? And they shut it off. Mm-hmm. I was like, thank you. Mm-hmm. Cordial.
Right.
Everything's cordial. I put my window back up. I'm doing my stuff, and I don't know how many kids are in that, but the windows are down for the back seat. The windows are up for the front seat.
Okay.
And
Oops.
the guy that was in the back is getting really agitated.
For the record, I just want to point something out. If he had actually called the cops immediately after and maintained maintained that he was genuinely in fear for his life, he might have been able to get away with this. It is fucking Florida after all. Just remember that, okay? And there would still be motherfuckers in the chat defending him. Maybe even more motherfuckers in the chat defending him. Good one, Fizz.
And my window's up. I can't hear everything he's saying, but, you know, there's a lot of fuck him and fuck that and fuck that bitch. And then the music comes back on. And, you know, I'm just like, live and let live, and you know, don't need any trouble.
The detectives will entertain his standpoint for the time being. They will remain as neutral as possible as he recounts his own narrative. This is because they need him to divulge as much information as possible while he remains without counsel. The more detail he gives away, the more they will have to evaluate and possibly use against him at a later stage. They will almost appear to be agreeing with everything he says, which is for the purpose of encouraging disclosure. If they were to challenge him this early, it would more than likely prevent him from opening up.
And I don't know if they're singing or what, but it's like they're saying, kill him. So I put my window down again, and I said, excuse me, are you talking about me? And it was like, kill that bitch. And you know, I'm still not reacting, but then this guy like goes down on the ground and comes up with something. I thought it was a shotgun, and he goes, "You're dead, bitch!" And he opens his door, and I'm shitting bricks. But that's when I reached in my glove box, unholstered my pistol. I mean, I practice this. I'm at the Fort Malabar Rifle and Pistol Range. I'm an avid. You know, gun guy and all that. No military training.
It's fucking made up, by the way, for the record. Like,
or anything, but I have friends who are in the military that show me the
proper way.
Yes, and so quicker in the flash, I had a round chambered in it, and
except for that one chatter who literally was like, no, this is 100% real, despite the fact that, you know, it's not real. But hey, it's fine. Again, he practiced doing a drive-by. Yes. No, I already ran the ad. I ran the ad already. I'm not going to run it again. Never mind. I'm done. All right, let's keep going. Sorry.
I
forgot what I was
reached in my glove box, unholstered my pistol. Quicker in the flash, I had a round chambered in it.
The prosecution would later argue that if the suspect was so traumatized both during and after the incident, as he stated multiple times, he wouldn't feel the need to add dramatic pauses while recounting the event, nor add complimentary remarks to his gun handling skills. It's almost as if he can't help but boast about the shooting, despite being so allegedly horrified and shaken up by it.
Okay. Do you remember how many times you shot?
4.
Okay. Okay, just keep walking me through kind of what you
well,
remember.
I shot 4 times, and that SUV pulled out, and like I said, in my mind, they got a gun. And so, you know, not training, just from, I was still scared. And so I shot 4 more times. As they were fleeing? Yeah, trying to keep their heads down to not catch any return fire.
Okay. All right. And then
and that was it. I mean, I still didn't feel safe. I thought, you know, there was another car. I didn't know. I mean, I'm in a strange town, in a strange area. I just had my life threatened. The love of my life is in the store. And she doesn't know what's going on. She come outside to see what was up. And I was just like, get in the car, we have to go.
Okay.
I just didn't feel safe there. In fact, we had
Which is why I drove to my hotel room to order pizza
plans.
and never called the cops, despite being in fear for my life and safety by these strange men, well, kids, self-admitted kids, listening to terrifying rap music.
A fairly expensive bed and breakfast paid for in St. Augustine.
More unnecessary detail that someone distraught by a recent event wouldn't feel the need to clarify. If he genuinely thought he was as close to being killed as he stated, or if he was at all upset about the fate of the young man he had just shot dead, the fact that he missed out on a fairly expensive bed and breakfast would most likely be overlooked.
And, you know, after what happened last night, and we're like, we have to go home and call the local sheriff and tell him what's up.
Well, where'd you go after when
We
you
went
left?
right to our room.
You went right to the hotel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't leave. We were just
Stayed
like
in the hotel
shitting
room?
bricks waiting for another carload of thugs to come. I mean, I'd never been so scared in my life.
These exact statements were brought up when his fiancée Rhonda was interviewed 4 days later.
Michael said something in the interview that was kind of, he made a comment that you guys went back to the room and he was basically waiting on some thugs with guns to come to the room at any given time. When you guys got back to the hotel, did he take the gun out of the glove box and take it up to the room with you guys?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so you left it in the car.
Ooh.
I do believe so.
Okay. And then you go up to the room and he gets the dog and goes outside and walks the dog.
So he's so comfortable that even he'll go back outside and walk again without the gun with the dog.
Yeah, but he is an attack French bulldog, a 7-month-old French bulldog that also happens to be an attack dog. So he was comfortable, I think. Like if the 17-year-old black kid that he murdered in cold blood is a thug, then what does that make the dude? I wonder.
I would have to assume so, yes.
Okay. And you guys just stayed in the hotel room at that point? Did you go anywhere else?
No, we ordered out.
Ordered
We got pizza.
pizza?
The investigators have secured their baseline narrative from the suspect and will now slowly ramp up the pressure. They will begin to destabilize his thought process by inducing anxiety and then set traps for him to incriminate himself further. They essentially need him to panic, and as he panics, they will pose more calculated questions. However, they have to do this in a subtle and methodical manner, as if they push it too far, they could scare him into shutting down completely, or even into requesting legal counsel and ending the interrogation right then and there.
I know you're in a strange town, and you had this traumatic event happen to you, and I can understand that. Okay. The problem, I can tell you, where we start to kind of get a little wondering is by the time you say you get to your hotel room, you're calling to order pizza. Why aren't you calling us?
I wanted to come back to my hometown to do that. You know, I shouldn't even left the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I left the scene because I was still afraid for...
I really hope that racist fucking piece of shit is still in here, by the way. The one that said they had something that looked like a weapon, that resembled a weapon. Because I'm pretty sure, I hope this is not just the interrogation and they actually show more information from the case.
Okay, and I can live with that. Okay, I can live with that. You don't necessarily want to hang around right where the shooting happened because you don't know if these guys are coming back. I'm good with
Or
that.
if there are more.
You know, but once you leave and you are away from that scene, and you've even gotten to a hotel room and inside your hotel room at that point, you know, now makes me wonder, you know, because if you make a phone call, one, we find out, you know, a lot quicker what's going on. Okay. The reason he and I haven't been to sleep since sometime yesterday is because we're trying to figure out All we know is we got a dead kid in a car, okay, and we got a guy who shot and hauled ass. That's all we know. I mean, I'm just, that's where we start to get a little concerned. It starts to be, you know, and you know, we can speak to, I personally have had a case with an individual who was moving to Jacksonville, first day in Jacksonville, and got involved in an incident and felt threatened and shot another person and was in their car. And he drove across the street to another parking lot and got on the phone with 911 immediately and started walking police into where he was. You know, that's the way I mean.
Hey.
By the way, the person, the 17-year-old kid, Jordan Davis, who was murdered by this fucking piece of shit racist psycho, his mother is a representative, is a congressperson in Florida. Lucy McBath, and a gun control advocate.
I have nothing to say other than
So other problems that we have too.
Or not in Florida,
When
in
you
Georgia.
began to shoot, can you honestly tell us that you ever saw a gun inside that vehicle?
I saw a barrel come up on the window.
He has now gone from saying that he saw a shotgun to now seeing a barrel come up on the window, and his emphasis while giving the statement was weak and unconvincing. If he had spoken with an attorney, his response to this question would have been that he without a doubt saw a shotgun, and his conviction to the claim would have been immensely forceful. It would make it far easier for his defense to create reasonable doubt within the jury, which the suspect has now made extremely difficult, and continues on to make it even more so.
Like a single shot shotgun where there's a barrel. I didn't see this part of the barrel, I saw that part of the barrel. And it was either a barrel or a stick, but sir, they're...
Another fun but horrible but racist fact, an ex-Georgia candidate, Paul Manor, who ran in 2016 for the Republican nomination for a Georgia state Senate seat, once lied on a Facebook post and said that Jordan Davis, son of Georgia Congresswoman Lucy McBath, was killed in a drug deal gone bad. I just want to remind everybody that, like, everybody that's like, oh, what's racism? Like, what's systemic racism? Like, oh, critical race theory? You can't teach that in school. Like, it's not an accident that this shit happens, okay? I gotta run this back, sorry.
Can you honestly tell us that you ever saw a gun inside that vehicle?
I saw a barrel come up on the window.
He has now gone from saying that he saw a shotgun to now seeing a barrel come up on the window, and his emphasis while giving the statement was weak and unconvincing. If he had spoken with an attorney, his response to this question would have been that he without a doubt saw a shotgun, and his conviction to the claim would have been immensely forceful. It would make it far easier for his defense to create reasonable doubt within the jury, which the
I know it's bait, but it's not good bait.
Suspect has now made extremely difficult, and continues on to make it even more so.
Like a single shot shotgun where there's a barrel. I didn't see this part of the barrel, I saw that part of the barrel. And it was either a barrel or a stick, but sir, they're like, we're gonna kill you. And then they say, you're dead, bitch. I mean, I didn't wait to look to see if they were gonna point it at me.
What was he trying to say? They're, you know what they are.
He reached down and picked it up, and then
Like, fuck, the detective is black. I can't say that.
Who reached down and picked it up?
well, hopefully it's the guy that I hit. Though it was.
Where was he sitting when he reached
He
down
was
and
sitting
picked
in
it up?
the rear passenger side,
Okay.
and that's the guy that was really agitated. And then that's the guy that I asked, are you talking about you're going to kill me? Like I said, I didn't know what, my window is up. He was saying a lot, but that's what came through and I put my window down to ask him.
Mm-hmm. And the music is still playing at this time? And
Yes, but he is really loud and really animated.
louder than the music that's bothering you?
Yes, well, the music was a nuisance at first. You know,
So how'd you guys have a conversation where you could hear what he had to say if the music was so loud that you couldn't hear yourself think? Just makes just kind of sounds strange that like the music was so loud and yet you could hear them audibly say they're going to kill you, white man. And I got so scared that I expertly pulled my gun out of the glove box, cocked it, loaded it.
with my car shut and the windows up, and you just hear the heavy bass. And like I said, I just said, hey, would you mind turning it down? And they did. They shut it off, which, I said thanks. But it really wasn't an issue of loud music. It was an issue of them threatening my life.
But it started from you.
Absolutely, and, that's when I started
And the
telling you
music
guys
was playing when you pulled up?
No, it was not.
It was not?
So you guys pull in, okay? Now, when he pulls in next to the red SUV, is that correct?
That's correct.
It was already there?
Yes.
Correct, okay. And was the music playing?
Yes.
Okay, the music's playing.
Like we said, there's some issues that we have. I'll be the first to tell you there's no weapons in the car.
Put yourself in the suspect's position and imagine everything you had said up to this moment was truthful. You had just shot and killed a person, yet fully believed it was either your life or theirs. A legitimate and justifiable act of self-defense. Now imagine the outright shock and dismay you would feel at the very moment you realized that wasn't the case.
I don't know what you saw.
That's possible. When they drove off, they dumped it.
They never left the parking lot.
They circled around until they saw you leave, and then they drove right back. Because they saw you leave at that
They saw
point.
you leave and they realized their friend had been hit. So they never left the parking
And they
lot.
came right back at that point.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
It's evident that
Motherfucker still's like, maybe they dumped it in the parking lot.
he's unremorseful over the consequences of his conduct, yet also appears to be totally unaware of the magnitude of his own situation. He's far too relaxed, and the detectives ramp up the pressure once more.
Here's what has to happen. I know that from your position right now that you're going to do everything to protect yourself. And I can't say that I blame you for that. But we're going to need the total truth as to what happened. Not this story that I've had from 7:30 last night till 12 o'clock today to fix up. Okay, because the only thing that's going to make sense to us is the truth matching the scene. And there was the biggest problem we got, the first hurdle we got to get over is that there's no weapon in that truck.
Do you have a stick?
There was nothing found in or near the car that resembled a stick nor a weapon. The suspect is now trying to forge a narrative that his actions were justified due to his perception of a threat, regardless of if there was one or not.
But that chatter was he was so convinced, like, that he was so horny to justify the actions of this fucking racist piece of shit that he was like, wait a minute, but he thought that they had something. Like, he's actually said, before I banned him, that they were holding something and he was worried in fear for his safety, and that's why he shot and killed them, one of them. Just, they're not sending their best, folks. They're not sending their best. That's all I'm going to say. Stop virtue signaling. We all understand this point. You've told the story 10 times. It just makes me feel happy that, at least, luckily, or maybe this is in correlation to being racist, but racist people are not very good at defending racist actions. Because it wouldn't take much for a lot of motherfuckers in the margins to be like, oh, okay, I actually agree with this guy. Yeah, seems like he's building a very good case. You know?
Well, the second problem we have is that the last set of rounds when the truck is backing away from you, and you put 4 more sets in it, 4 more shots into it. That's an issue.
By the way, whenever people say like, you're virtue signaling, yes, motherfucker, I'm signaling the virtue that like you shouldn't be racist, okay? Thank you. Okay, yeah, I am signaling to you. Maybe you need a signal to understand that. Like, imagine needing a fucking signal to recognize not to be racist.
Because now, if it's backing away, it's no longer a threat.
Yes, sir. I understand that. In my mind, they had a weapon.
Okay. I can't shoot someone because in my mind they had a weapon.
Okay.
That's the problem. I mean, if I walked up to someone right now and I'm having a conversation with them and I think they have a weapon, the law doesn't allow me to shoot him because I think he has a weapon.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this: when you pulled your gun out, say you're sitting in your driver's seat like that, straight ahead. How did you shoot? Did you shoot one-handed? Did you shoot two-handed?
Two-handed, like that.
Two-handed like this. You come across your body. Okay, and you shoot the first. What you said, 4 shots is what you remember, and then they start backing out. Do you continue to shoot through the window, or do you reposition yourself?
I don't recall, but I do remember getting out of my car and taking, like, getting sideways, and I was, like, waiting for the wink or...
I just gotta say, when the cop said, like, oh, you can't just shoot and kill someone because you thought that they had a weapon, excuse me? You're a literal American police officer. That literally eliminates, like, at least 40% of the police murders, okay? The fuck are you talking about? Okay, maybe not 40%, but still. I can't believe he just had the audacity to say that. Maybe he just meant, like, you're a civilian, you don't have a badge, so you can't do that. But, like, you know, killing black teenagers under the assumption that they have a weapon is kind of what the cops do. I think he meant he can't do that as a civilian.
Once again,
all this is...
Okay. Once again, if you think they have something, think they have a shotgun.
They had a shotgun.
You think they have a shotgun. Are you going to get out of your car so they can get a good aim on you? Make any sense?
Well, at the time, I was doing everything on adrenaline and no...
But I'm just saying, we're trained to, if we think something is there, to get out of the way.
To get out of the way.
Cover or concealment. So you're telling me that you thought they had a shotgun, but you got out of your car so that they would get a good aim at you, is what you're telling me.
Well, I thought maybe they would shoot at the car and I wouldn't be in it.
But the car, your car's not shooting at them. You are. Why would they shoot at your car?
They can't. So, honestly, sir, I'm at a loss to justify what I did on the second volley,
right,
other than to say I thought they were going to be shooting back, and I was keeping them from doing that. And I was in such a panic.
So you get the gun, rack it, and then reassess?
No, I didn't reassess. I
so
started
you went, grabbed gun, rack, came up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see him start to come out of the door of the truck. At that point, you turn to get your gun. Is that correct? You take it out of your glove box. You unholster it.
How much you want to bet he didn't think a black detective was going to fucking be interrogating him? Like, that's... You know he did not see this coming. Like, there's no shot. Because, like, probably so much easier for him to, in his mind, it was a lot easier for him to craft a narrative with, like, a like-minded fellow, you know? You know how these thugs are, am I right? He's having a very hard time right now.
You rack around, and you come back up on target.
Yes, sir. Fluid motion.
Okay.
Fluid motion.
In the amount of time he's starting to get out of the truck when you first start to go get your, but yet by the time you come back and start shooting, he's still in the truck.
He's coming out. I think
That's the self-report. I don't know if you're being serious or not, but like the assumption that black people can't, black detectives or just black prosecutors, black people in general can't fucking try hate crimes, is actually like a very racist thing. I'm gonna give you a week off, maybe because you're new here or some shit. Fuck that. Actually, I'm gonna permanently ban you. Nah, fuck that. Just letting you know that that is incredibly racist. Hassan indirectly calling all white people racist? Yeah, dude. As a white person, I'm so fucking racist, dude. It's crazy. How did I indirectly call all white people racist? He was probably racist, but explaining the case, race hasn't been an issue. If white people would be playing equally loud, same thing might have happened. Oh my God, this dude has literally been trying to defend this guy since the jump, dude. Anyone can listen to that kind of music. Might not be race-based. Didn't see my comment, lol. Why'd you call this woman racist, Hassan? Danky, still don't get why you're so mean to the fiance yet. Of course he has a German car. Military trained, missed the shots like a stormtrooper. Hassan indirectly calling all white people racist. I can't tell if this fucking idiot is like trying to you know, do a good bait here. You know, take a week off, okay, chatter?
he saw what I was doing when it was running back in. I don't know. But
See, that's where I'm a little thrown off here, okay? Because he is sitting in the back seat of that truck when he is hit, okay? Because the bullet goes right through the door. 3 bullets went through that door, okay? He wasn't hit standing outside the truck.
Oh no, I know I shot through the door,
Okay, so
driving him back.
How's he getting out of the door if you're shooting through it? You're confusing us.
All right. When the latch is coming off the
Mons, you can give the people that are like very clearly trying to bait now with racist shit just to get my attention and get called out quietly like a week off, because I don't want to give them the gratification of like giving them the attention that they're trying to get.
door,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I went to do what I was doing with the gun. And when I came back, I'm firing.
When the latch is coming off the door?
No, when I got my gun out of the...
When you said earlier about that, when you see the latch, what do you mean by the latch coming?
Well, the door's opening, and he's stepping out.
Okay, so he's stepping out.
Yes, and then
And you go and reach, but by the time you come back and come up just blazing, somehow he's still sitting in the truck.
Well, maybe I'm not as fast with the whole thing as I think I am, but it was...
Or maybe he wasn't getting out of the truck.
No, absolutely he was.
This was refuted by forensics. The victim never got out of the truck, and the door was shut at the time the suspect opened fire. This was proven by correlating...
Not only was the door shut, but apparently one of the people in the car, like the person driving the car, testified that the child lock was on. So it was literally impossible for him to open the fucking door.
the angles of the bullets that came through the door, alongside the entry and exit wounds to the victim.
You're saying you feel like you have a threat that this guy's got a shotgun in your view. Okay, so you think he's getting out of the car. Okay, so you turn to get yours. If he's unarmed, which he is, why is he going to be...
I don't know, maybe he
Now
thinks I'm unarmed. The sad fact of it is he's telling me he's going to kill me. You're dead, bitch.
Because you asked him to turn the radio down?
See, that's the part where I don't understand.
And you know what? And I'll tell
they
you...
were getting really agitated.
I understand it, because believe me, we deal with guys who you ask them to turn their radio down, they would get out of the car and shoot you. We deal with those kind of dudes all the time.
The cop is jumping out right now, by the way. My lord. That was a real cop moment right there from the detective.
Here's what I can almost bet you a year of my salary on. When you got into a confrontation with those guys, a man of your stature, if there was a gun in that truck...
Oh, it's the other cop? There's another cop in the room?
They wouldn't have had to get out. They would have shot right through. They would have shot from the truck just like you were shooting from your car. People don't get out of the car to be seen when they're shooting someone. They're going to shoot you right inside that truck.
All right. He's getting out of his car. We're this close to each other.
The cop's like, listen, we're kind of racist too, but just leave this up to us. Yeah. Come on, we're professionals, son. Literally. Don't worry, you're in good company, but also your story's not sticking right now, my friend.
He was getting out of his car after repeatedly telling me that he was going to kill me. So, is he going to bite my ear off or shoot me with a shotgun? I wasn't too concerned about how he intended to do it.
If you thought he had a shotgun, you most likely would be concerned with how he intended to do it. You would be likely more concerned with being shot with a shotgun as opposed to having your ear bitten off.
Now, and I'll tell you this. We talked to the other guys in the car, and they will all tell us he didn't like the fact that some stranger's telling him to turn his music down. He's 17. He's a teenager. Okay, you know what teenagers are. They're a little hard-headed sometimes, especially when they're out on their own. And did he throw some F-bombs at you? Basically tell you to go fuck yourself multiple times? Absolutely. They said, yep, he was jaw-jacking back and forth with that guy. But at no time did any of them say, well, okay, he did say he was going to kill him. Because it makes no sense, because what's he going to do? He's not armed. What's he going to, I'm going to kill you and get out of a car. And we're talking about a kid. You know how many times that kid's been to jail? Never. He has no history of violence, and it's not like we're getting some street thug.
All this kid has is a truancy in school.
We're not talking about a violent kid here. He has no track record. There are guys in Jacksonville I'd go, okay, I believe that, because they got track records. This kid ain't got no track record. The kid sitting next to him doesn't have a track record. The kid sitting in front of him doesn't have a track record.
By the way, listen, this is going to really trigger a bunch of fucking folks in the chat, but like, that statement right there, that statement implies that like, if any one of those kids had a track record, his story would be sticking a little bit better with a lot of members in the criminal justice community. Okay? So remember that. Like, you don't have to be 100% like clear record in order to be perceived as a victim. But unfortunately, when you're black, you kind of do. That's why with George Floyd, there were still people that were rushing to bring up his like priors and talk about how he's a violent person. That's why they always do this with black victims of police brutality or black victims in general. Just remember that. There's a reason. Like, the cop is just saying that right now to like tell him how fucked he is. But there's a more nefarious side to expressing that statement. Because even if those dudes had priors, they are completely innocent in that situation. Having priors does not mean, death sentence.
Track record. None of them do. These aren't violent guys. They pull up so the driver can run in and buy cigarettes. It's the only reason they're even there. They just got back from going to the mall. That's it. So I have a hard time buying how I can totally see him talking shit to you. I can see that. But to take it to a level that he's threatening to end your life when he can't. There's no way he can. He doesn't have anything.
I didn't know that.
I know.
That's all the reason
That's
that
all
you're not knowing that is all the reason why you took your next step too far.
Yeah,
Too far.
They're literally like, come on, bro. Yeah, you saw black teenagers, you thought thugs. We get it, okay? We get it, bro. We're cops. You took it too far, though. You know, the racism dial, it broke. I love that he literally just self-reported, like, just a totally racist attitude right there. Like, the attitude that he expressed right there is, and I'm sorry, I know that there's a lot of fragile people in this chat, but that's racist as fuck. Oh, I didn't know that they weren't thugs. I just thought all blacks are thugs. Like, you can't just, that's not a defense. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally fucking racist. You see a bunch of black kids at a gas station, and you immediately, in your mind goes, oh my God, these guys are gonna fucking murder me. Let me take my gun out. Like, that's racist as fuck. That's the point. Do you understand? I've talked about this before. It's like, racism is kind of like a puzzle piece, right? It's the puzzle piece that you fit into like every fucking situation where if there's any sort of unknown entity that revolves around like a black or brown person that you're involved with, you immediately assume the most like violent thing is going to happen to you. Like, that's racist as fuck. That's what a prejudice, that's what your prejudice is. You're prejudiced. You see what I'm saying? And that's precisely how it works for people who like try to justify these sorts of racist actions as well. Anyway, let's keep going.
The problem is you went from 0 to 100 without ever getting to 50.
I have a guy very irate.
I know that the chats are chats. I know that the cops are saying whatever they can to just like get him on his, you know, to get him on their side and, you know, get a good solid confession out of him at this point, right? Like I understand that. What I'm trying to describe to you, however, is like you know, how this sentiment is expressed regularly and where it comes from.
He wants me dead. Well, if the other guys aren't corroborating, I'm sorry, but that's
And understand too, there's people in the parking lot that can hear what's going on too.
Not one of them. We have what's called independent witnesses.
Yeah, not associated.
I understand. I wasn't sure that I heard him right. That's why are you, is this directed towards me? You're going to kill me?
And that happens to be an exact quote of, are you talking to me? That was an exact quote. Guys with the truck said, he said something to the effect of, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
So that's dead on. Yeah, he was talking to you. He's basically telling you to go fuck yourself, and I'm going to turn the music back up.
Yeah, no, the music was already up, and he's talking, kill the guy.
I just can't understand, if the music is up to the point where you're asking them to turn it down, how can you also hear the conversation that they're having? It's not making any sense.
He's livid. He's not talking. He's yelling. And my window's up and I can hear him. I'm not making out all the words. But then I hear, you know, kill that son of a bitch, or kill that motherfucker, I think is what he was saying.
How do you know it was him saying it?
Well, when I put the window down and I asked him, he said the same thing. Yeah, kill a motherfucker. And then when he was opening his door, that's when he said, "You're dead, bitch." And you know, when you say he didn't have a weapon, he's on the ground and you put something up on the thing and then gets out. I thought it was a shotgun, or a stick, or you know, some kind of weapon. But he's confrontational.
Okay.
And using words like, I'm going to kill you and you're dead. And I didn't know he's 17. I thought he was a full-grown man. And I don't know how many kids are in that, but the windows are down for the back seat. I didn't know he's 17. I thought he was a full-grown man. I thought they all were. And in my mind, they're all going to get out of this truck and shoot me or beat me
You know,
or
had
kill
that been
me
the case, we would
somehow.
have a different argument. Had anyone been out of the truck, walking towards you in any type of
Dude, he's like, come on, we'll work with you in that situation. Like we're really trying here, dude.
manner, we would have a
We were
different.
parked right next to each other.
Yes.
I know you were.
There was no
So-
walking. It was him getting out, and then he was an arm reach from me.
Yeah, but here, those
barrel
cars are
behind.
so close to each other, though. Him getting out, it's going to be hard for him to get out because he's back away from you. His door opens up. He's actually going to be shielding himself from where you are because you're closer up to the driver.
All these things you're saying are great, but you know, see, I didn't analyze all these things. I got the shit scared out of me.
I know.
And some guy's coming at me, telling me what he's gonna do or wants to do. I reacted. I'm sitting here telling you guys I was in fear for my life. I honestly was. I have so much going on in my personal life. The last thing I want to do is be in trouble. I don't want to cause you guys a sleepless night. I don't want to lose
Don't worry
my
about that.
Bro, he literally murdered someone. And the concern here is like, what's going to happen in his fucking, comp sci career or whatever. He's a software developer or some shit. Or like the cops that are going to have sleepless nights working on this case. Oh man, it's a real fucking bummer, dude. Dude, systemic racism is real, but why do you try to attribute individual racism to every single cop? Not all of them are. Oh my god, dude. Okay. Policing is not a fucking race, okay? Not a race of individuals. Policing, as it's built as a profession, happens to systemically, disproportionately target black people. So even if you are to originally join the police force with honorable intentions, like you want to actually protect and serve the community that you are a part of, you end up learning through both the culture and through the lack of accountability and through the attitudes and through the training that you are supposed to protect and serve the interests of capital. And you are supposed to, treat black, brown, and otherwise just poor people as though they are enemy combatants to be brutalized. Okay?
item.
He reverts back to this premise multiple times. He continuously associates these two reasons with the notion that he wasn't the instigator, yet not once does he mention that he wouldn't want a teenager to lose his life over a verbal altercation.
This is what we do. Don't worry about that. This is what we do.
Well, I mean, the last thing I'm looking for is trouble. The last thing. Sir, from where I was sitting, a shotgun was coming up at me, and so I don't want to sound like an asshole, but if it happened again tomorrow where a shotgun was coming up, I think I would do the same. I hope I would
And you know what,
not be
Mr.
afraid
Dunn?
to do the same.
If there was a shotgun coming up at you, we would expect you to do what you did. The problem that we have is that there is no shotgun. That's the bridge that we got to get across. You keep dwelling on this shotgun as if there was one at the scene. If there was a shotgun, a BB gun, any type of gun at the scene. Hell, if it was a water gun that was black that looked real at the scene.
Like I said, it was a barrel. It could have been just a stick, but, I mean, it was...
Could it have been your imagination?
Well, no.
He said no with a rising intonation. The way in
No?
which he said the word doesn't correlate with its message. The intonation was more matched with the word maybe.
Well, no.
The pressure he's under is causing disorientation in his critical thinking. He was unable to process the adjustment in his thoughts to his words quick enough, and that's why they came out mixed together.
I mean, anything's possible.
The
I guess,
puzzle
but
piece in that situation, boys, is
Um,
racism.
The him coming out of his car was not my imagination.
Okay.
And it was right after I saw that he started coming out of his car and saying, "You're dead, bitch."
When you went and grabbed your gun, racked it, and came back around, what were you shooting at? Did you acquire a target or did you just start shooting?
I shot at the door.
Which door? Which door?
The rear passenger.
You shot at his door.
Yes.
What was the purpose of that?
Saved my life?
From the door?
No, he was coming out of his door, and I guess he went back in it, but that's where he was
I just
prior.
said, hypothetically, you and him exchange words. He opened the door to go in the store to use the bathroom.
He wouldn't have said, "You're dead, bitch," and then...
I'm just saying.
Well, then I guess I would be in trouble if that was the case. But that's not what happened.
We are so lucky. Really, there should be 3 of those 4 should have been hit. 3 of those 4. You could have 3 dead guys right now. Okay. Luckily for the guy in the front seat, his door stopped the bullets. They entered the door but they didn't go all the way in because the front door's got bullet holes in it. Okay. And there's another one you shot when you were doing the suppression fire, basically, to keep their heads down as they're driving away. You put one in the back of the car. There's several shots directly into the rear of the truck. And one of them comes zinging in through the back and goes right up and hits the sun visor where the driver is as he's driving out. Didn't miss his noggin by much. You know, so we could very easily have 3 victims at this point. Luckily, those guys didn't get hit or any way, shape, but they're all fine, except for the poor guy who's pretty much was dead right there. It didn't take him long; he was gone. We see a lot of scenarios, and we deal with.
Why does he feel remorse? If they were criminals who were trying to murder him, he shouldn't feel remorse right now. I mean,
Threatening situations. I mean, it's not, you know, we deal with them all the time where somebody defends themselves. I mean, we do. And there are clear-cut cases where you go, yep, sure did, buddy. You know?
I mean, I know he doesn't feel remorse. You heard the phone conversation to his fiance. We know. We all fucking know he doesn't feel remorse. I'm just saying, he just looks sad because he got caught, okay? Kind of like how chat can't catch these fucking top of the hour ad breaks. Even though you guys were fucking spamming it already, so I'm just giving up at this point. All right? Now, of course, when an ad break does come, there is something you can do. I know I keep doing them early because, like, if I do it at the top of the hour, you're going to know. Okay? This was not your best work. I know. I kind of phoned this one in, okay? I kind of phoned this one in, dude. Anyway, if you know, when the ad break cometh, though, you know what to do. You know, you can use a VPN, you can use an ad block, or you can subscribe either with a Twitch Prime for free or with a $5 subscription, you know. Any one of these things works, okay? Here's the ad break now. Play more ads, no Racy. I watch your stream on my smart fridge, no ads. Also, here's another way that you can avoid the ad breaks. You know, if you're a fucking asshole, if you like defend racist murderers, as the one chatter also pointed out, and I'll ban you. So it literally feels like you're constantly in an ad break. Actually, when you're banned, you can still watch the stream, but you won't be able to chat ever again.
You defended yourself. Have a nice day. Unfortunately, this is not one of them.
I'm not feeling so hot now that you guys are.
Unfortunately, we have that effect sometimes.
Well, I don't mean sick. I mean, I actually am starting to be sick in my stomach. I don't know how I can express to you guys that I was in fear